My name is Pulkit and I talk about books over here. So if you're someone who loves books, if you're someone who loves to read, make sure to press the subscribe button. Make sure you like this video and share it with your book nerd friends as well. So guys, in today's video, I will be talking about an amazing book which is called The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. And I think each and everybody should read that book. And why do I think so? I am going to talk about that in this video. So keep watching. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas is an amazing book, and this book was on my TBR since long. I wanted to read this book since the beginning of this year, and finally I got the time to read it, and I am spellbound by this book, and I think each and everybody should read this book here. So the biggest learning that I took from this book was that sometimes you might do all the things right, but even then the things might turn out wrong. The key is never to stop doing things right. And that's the biggest takeaway that I learned from this book. And that's the reason I love reading books, because no matter it's a fiction or it's a self-help or it's any genre, you get to learn something from each and every character in that book. And that is what I learned from this book. So let me just describe you the plot of this particular book. So guys, this book talks about a girl called Star, and Star is basically a black, and she lives in a very poor community which is called as Garden High, and she goes to high school in suburbs, which is a posh area. So she manages both her identities, and the school where she goes, that is a high school where there are not a lot of black people. So what happens one day, Star actually comes from a party with her best friend Khalil, and they both are stopped by a cop. That cop is white, and he asks Star's best friend Khalil to come out of the car, and he wants to investigate Star and Khalil at that point of time. However, they did nothing wrong, and they were just normally driving and to the destination. So when Khalil steps out of the car, the cop investigates Khalil, checks him, and after checking, and eventually he shoots Khalil. So this is something which shook Star to the core, and after shooting Khalil, the cop comes at Star and points gun at her as well. But the crowd gathers and Star is saved. Now Star is the only witness to that murder, and Star, is like numb. She is totally numb, and she does not knows how to react. So for some days she's quiet, she's not herself, and she feels she feels horrible that this happened in front of her, and she's unable to do anything. But eventually, when you read this novel, and towards the end of the novel, you come to know that Star raises her voice, and how she achieves and proclaims justice for Khalil. So this book is an amazing book. It talks about racism. Angie Thomas has done a brilliant job in portraying the essence of racism filled in the veins of people. Very amazing abbreviation in this book, Thug Life, which is The Hate You Give Little Infants Fucks Everybody, which actually portrays that the feeling of hate and the feeling of all these negative things such as racism, which are given to the children in their young ages, when they're infants or when they're growing up. That is the basic reason which actually develops the feeling of racism when they grow up, and that needs to be controlled. So that is why I think this is an amazing book. The plot is amazing, the story is amazing, and apart from that, the relationship of Star with her father, with Uncle Carlos, with her mother, with her step brother Seven, and her boyfriend who is a white, and his name is Chris. And all these relationships get so complicated. Stars ends up slapping one of her best friends, Haley, and all these things are amazing in this book. So I think that's the reason I think each and everybody should be reading this book here, because this book gives you courage. This book fills you with zeal and enthusiasm, and this book actually persuades you to stand up for right whenever you need to. So that's the reason I love reading books. This is the reason I actually try to read as much as possible, because no matter it's a fiction book, people who say that fiction book are useless and meaningless and you get nothing from them. I think fictions are the best books ever, because a character, a simple character can teach you like millions of values, and that is what I felt from this book, and that's why I read it. I loved it, and I think you should read this book as well. If you want to read this book and if you want to grab a copy of this book, you can check out the description. I have added the link to buy this book over there directly. So with this said, I think this is a wrap on today's video here, and I'll keep making quality videos. I'll keep making quality content for you, and so just support me by subscribing to my channel and sharing this video to your book nerd friends. Also, if you have any suggestions for me or anything that you might want to say, you can mention that in the comment section. And also, if you have read this book, please let me know that how was it in the comment section. I'll be ears to all of that, and I'll just be back within the next 2 days. So keep watching. Did you read that? And keep reading.